The Galactic University of Valthoris Prime had processed over 4 million enrollment applications in its 900-year history. Never once had the bioskin terminal in Hall 7 flashed red. Until today. Alert. Apex Deathworld Predator detected. Classification: Homo sapiens. Earth, SOL3. Threat level: catastrophic. Ambassador Crix, 9, the six-limbed Valthori station director, stared at the blinking screen. His bioluminescent skin shifted from calm blue to anxious yellow. Around him, students from 40 different star systems shuffled forward in the registration line. Delvari with their crystalline exoskeletons. Mani, whose translucent bodies revealed floating organs. The gasbag Phylorans drifting in their containment suits. And then there was her. She stood near the back of the queue, approximately 1.65 meters tall. She wore a faded blue backpack. She was eating something from a small, crinkled packet. A human snack? Crix, 9 recalled from the xenobiology briefings. Chips, they were called. She seemed completely unbothered by the 40-minute wait. She was looking at her communication device and occasionally mouthing words to music only she could hear. Her name, according to the enrollment manifest, was Sarah. Crix, 9 summoned his deputy, a younger Valthori named Jo4. "Get me the Earth Liaison," he whispered. "And alert campus security." Quietly. Jack had been the Earth Cultural Liaison at Valthoris Prime for 3 years. He was, by most accounts, a relaxed and cheerful man. Qualities that made the Valthori deeply suspicious of him, since they associated relaxation with either dying or planning something. When his communicator buzzed and Crix 9's panicked voice came through, Jack set down his coffee and sighed with the long-suffering patience of a man who had been through this before. He arrived at Hall 7 in 7 minutes. Sarah was now at the front of the line. She had finished her chips. She was smiling at the registration drone hovering before her, apparently trying to make small talk with it. The drone, lacking a social subroutine, kept repeating, "Please state your species for bioskin verification." "Human," Sarah said cheerfully. "From Earth. Specifically Ohio, but I don't think that matters for the scan." The bioskin terminal screamed red again. Half the students in the hall took 3 steps backward. A Delvari cadet's exoskeleton cracked from the stress response. The Phyloran in the containment suit made a sound like a foghorn. Jack stepped forward and gently touched Sarah's shoulder. "Hey, you're Sarah Chun, right? The new xenobiology exchange student." She turned and looked at him with brown eyes that held no threat whatsoever. "Oh, yeah, that's me. Are you the Earth guy? Someone told me to find the Earth guy." "That's me. I'm Jack." He lowered his voice. "The scanner is alarming people." Sarah glanced at the flashing terminal. "Oh, is it doing the Predator thing again?" She didn't seem alarmed. She seemed vaguely amused. "My roommate at the pre-enrollment camp, a Delvari girl named Chiss. She nearly shed her outer shell when it scanned me. We laughed about it after." Crix, 9 shuffled up beside Jack, all 6 limbs held close to his body in the Valthori posture of extreme caution. "Liaison Jack," he said in a low, clicking voice. "The bioskin does not do things. The bioskin is precise. It has flagged this individual as an Apex Deathworld Predator. Category 9 threat. The last Category 9 on record was the Vreth Bone Eater of Sigma Crucis." Sarah blinked. "I'm being compared to a bone eater?" "The bioscan," Crix, 9 continued, voice wavering, "has identified your species as originating from a planet with gravity 9.8 meters per second squared, nearly double galactic standard. Your planet's axial tilt causes temperature variations extreme enough to kill most known species. You breathe a mixture that contains 21% free bonding oxygen, which is corrosive to 4 of the 6 major sentient body types. Your skeleton is reinforced calcium phosphate, capable of surviving impacts that would liquefy Mani tissue. Your musculature generates force outputs that place you in the top 2% of known biological entities by mass. Your immune system has co-evolved with thousands of parasitic, viral, and bacterial organisms, meaning you carry inside your body, at all times, dormant pathogens that our species have never encountered." A long pause. "And, Crix," 9 added, almost whispering now, "your species practices something called running. For recreation. For extended periods. For no survival reason." Sarah considered this. "I mean, I'm more of a yoga person, but yeah." Jack pinched the bridge of his nose. He had done this speech before, or versions of it. Every time a new human enrolled. Every time a human walked into a cafeteria and cheerfully ordered food so spicy it would chemically burn Velthori mucous membranes. Every time a human shook hands with a species whose greeting ritual was never meant for something with a grip strength measured in hundreds of kilograms. Ambassador Crix, 9, Jack said carefully. Sarah is a xenobiology student. She is here to study other species. Peacefully. She is 22 years old, and her primary interests are, if I read her file right, marine invertebrates and competitive baking. Sarah supplied helpfully. Marine invertebrates and competitive baking, Jack repeated. She is not a threat. Crick's 9 skin flickered through 3 colors. The bioscan. The bioscan is measuring potential, Jack said, not intent. He turned to the assembled students, who had pressed themselves against the far wall with varying degrees of panic. Look, I know. Humans read scary on paper. On paper, we are an obligate predator species from a high-gravity, high-radiation, extreme-temperature death world. We have binocular forward-facing predator eyes. We have hands specifically evolved for gripping and throwing things. We have a pain response that causes us to keep functioning under injuries that would trigger shock death in most species. He paused. We also domesticated wolves by out-affectioning them over thousands of years. We keep small versions of our planet's ambush predators as pets and let them sleep in our beds. We are, to put it plainly, extremely weird. Silence. Sarah waved at the crowd. A few students flinched. She's being friendly, Jack said. That is the human gesture for friendliness. She wants to know you. She is going to ask you personal questions about your biology because she finds it genuinely fascinating. And she is going to remember your answers because humans form strong social bonds very quickly, and she will consider you her friend after approximately one shared meal. He looked at the Delvari cadet, whose cracked exoskeleton was already being patched by a medical drone. I apologize about your shell. She didn't mean to do that. I really didn't, Sarah confirmed, looking guilty. I can be quieter. The Delvari cadet, whose name turned out to be Chiss, made a cautious clicking sound. Then, slowly, she raised one crystalline foreleg in what Jack recognized as a Delvari gesture of tentative greeting. Sarah's face lit up. She returned the gesture imperfectly, her fingers spread the wrong way, but with such obvious enthusiasm that Chiss's bioluminescent spots flickered warm amber. Crix, 9 watched this exchange for a long moment. The bioscan, he said finally, does not have a category for this. No, Jack agreed. It usually doesn't. He guided Sarah to the registration terminal, which processed her without further incident. As she collected her student card and campus map, she paused and looked up at the vaulted ceiling of Hall 7, at the banners representing 900 years of galactic scholarship, the names of species who had come here to understand the universe and one another. I can't believe I'm actually here, she said quietly, and for just a moment, Jack saw it, the thing the bioscan could never quantify. Not threat. Not danger. Wonder. The most human thing of all. Later, Crix, 9 filed an amendment to the university's enrollment protocols. Under the field marked Threat Classification, for Homo sapiens, he typed a single new designation. Category, Anomalous. Approach with curiosity. They usually mean well.